Hey guys, welcome back to Backyard Foam. Today we are going to be reviewing, and this is going to be our first review on the channel, the Dart Zone Max Dictator. I was able to pick this up at our local Target today. It was not sent to us or anything like that for obvious reasons. 0 subscribers. So if you enjoyed the review, make sure you subscribe to the channel and help us out, and yeah, see if we can't get some numbers rolling here. So so this is going to be the review of the Dictator. I don't know if I really care for that name that much, but anyway, so we're going to go over the blaster first here in the studio, then we're going to take it out on the range, and we'll go through our standard procedure. If you guys have any questions about the procedure that we go through as far as testing each of our blasters out, there is a previous video that we uploaded on the channel that goes over exactly what we use, from the tools to the ammo types to what types of tests we run, all that good stuff. So make sure you check out that video as well if you have any questions, or feel free to leave a comment down below. And we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. If you think there's a test that we should be doing that we aren't doing, or something that we could be doing better, feel free to leave that down there as well. We read all the comments, we'll respond and everything like that. And yeah, maybe we will use the test that you recommend. But yeah, so first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at the box itself. This is a Target exclusive, so you're only gonna find this at Target. And nowhere else, no brick and mortar stores. You might find some online as far as like eBay and secondhand and stuff like that, but this is a Target exclusive, as goes with all of the Dart Zone Max line. It retails for $49.99, so $50 gets you the blaster. And let's go ahead and take a look at the outside of the box here, see what kind of promises and things they make. So first off, the nice thing is they give you a huge, and this is kind of the standard for Dart Zone Max blasters, they give a huge picture of what is inside the box of the blaster itself, which I really enjoy. They tell you, let's see here, it's the Ultimate Dart Blaster Series, which is a subjective thing. Stick magazine extender, so it looks like we've got, we'll talk about this here in a little bit. Maximum distance, maximum accuracy, we will definitely be putting that to the test. 24 max accurate half-length darts, these are the Ruby darts, So then it says the first actual statistic that we can actually measure is over 125 feet. It doesn't say what is over 125 feet. Does it shoot over 125 feet? Can you throw it 125 feet? It doesn't actually say that, which is interesting. Yeah. We'll just assume that they're saying that it shoots darts up to or over 125 feet. It comes with 32 pieces. It gives you a list of everything listed here. Like basically every item here, and they are counting the 24 max accurate half-length darts in that 32. So yeah, so I wish they wouldn't do that. That's, this is kind of misleading. Blaster works with Dart Zone Max Pro Series darts and half-length ammo clips, delivering maximum distance and ultimate accuracy. This is from Primetime Toy or Primetime International. I think that's the kind of the parent company. Dart Zone is the kind of under that umbrella. And then let's see, let's flip it over. We get a nice look of the picture of the actual features. A little bulge here. I wonder what that is. Hopefully it isn't ruined. So we got the blaster. We got a detachable tactical sight. We've got stick magazine extender. So we'll talk about that again. Looks like it comes with 2 magazines. Tactical and second. Oh, so you got a front sight and a rear sight. Muzzle brake. Power grip. Pull back to load. So to prime it. So this is a pump action primer. Let's see here. Comes with an ammo clip release lock. So it's interesting that the stick magazine, they call it a magazine up here, but they call it a clip down here. So these are in fact magazines, by way of the item itself is a magazine. Has a safety lock. You get eye protection with the actual blaster itself in the package, and then we also have a trigger. Thank God they left the trigger in. We've got some warning signs and everything like that. I will leave that up to you to read. Yeah, it just says over the top. It doesn't look like we have much else. Just have some imagery or some marketing on the sides there. So this is nice. This allows you to flip open, and Dart Zone does a really good job of this. Flip open, and you have the blaster itself right here. No images. You get another look at what's on the back, but you get the blaster itself, so you can kind of see the size of this thing. It's actually pretty large. You get the different components. Here's our 24 darts. You get a couple O-rings, the muzzle brake. Here's our 2 magazines and the eye protection. So yeah. It gives you a little bit of information about what is in here pointing wise, which is interesting since it's all up here. Anyway, let's go ahead and break it out of the box, take a look at it, demo it for you guys here in the studio, and then we'll take it outside and go from there. So let's get this thing unboxed. Okay, so we've got it unboxed here. Let's take a look. Man, this feels nice in the hand. Right, so let's kind of go over, before we get into like the observations and how I feel about it, let's kind of take a look at the blaster itself and see what it comes with. So we already know that it's got the blaster, we've got our 2 sights, front sight and rear sight, we've got 2 magazines, we've got a magazine coupler, and here's our muzzle brake here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the blaster, look at the features of the blaster. So this is a pump action spring powered blaster. So you pump and then fire just like that. And we've got our safety here. And then looks like we've got a mag release on both sides, which is nice, ambidextrous. Looks like we have a metal in some type of aluminum, whatever, inside metal barrel, which is nice. We've got a little bit of orange on the front for safety purposes. That's awesome. The one thing that is interesting about this blaster, so most of your primary magazine style blasters are going to have the magazine perpendicular to like the breech and the barrel and everything like that. They're going to load in, something like this, like your Nexus Pro, the Striker, like pretty much all of those types of springers. Heck, even the most of the flywheels at this point are perpendicular. This, however, takes it a little bit different, kind of like the Conquest from the Adventure Force line. This is actually loading the magazines in to the buttstock of it. So you've got a hole here in the back, and you basically line up your magazine just like this, and then that's how it loads in there. But the keen of you will notice that there is this gap right here, and actually, let's see, how do we get it out of there? I might have broke it. There we go. There we go. So gravity drop, kind of. So the gimmick for this is you've got a 12-round magazine, and it's got a couple up arrows here, and then you've got your coupler, you got an up arrow there. It'll only fit one way because of this little notch here. So it notches in like that, and then you take your second mag and you notch it in like that. So theoretically what you can do is load in your darts on one side here, and again we're using the Ruby darts that come with a blaster here. So you load up that magazine, and then you turn around and load up this magazine, obviously 12 and 12, giving you a grand total of 24. And then that way, when you deplete the first magazine, you should be able to, it loads in just like that. So when you deplete the first magazine, you can pull out, flip it around, maybe, there we go, and pop it back in. You've got 12 more rounds. So 24 round capacity, kind of. You're still doing a mag switch, even though it's on board, so you're not carrying it on your person, which is really nice. As far as performance goes, we'll take that outside. Let's see here, press for safety, press for fire, so pushing this side fire. So put one in the chamber here, Woo! That is nice. Stock is a little short, just a little short, but yeah, doesn't extend at all. You got Picatinny rail all the way across the top here. It looks like it's broken up into a couple pieces, so you can put your camera, scope, flashlight, whatever the case may be, red dot, because this thing feels, it's shooting pretty hard. Let's see, so we've got one in the chamber. Let's see if we can we, oh, we can. So you can eject it while you have one in the chamber. Does it, oh, it does seed. It won't let us prime it again. Awesome. Perfect. So then you've got your muzzle brake, which doesn't have any type of rifling. It looks like it just, yeah, just friction fits on. The inner diameter of the metal barrel is smaller than this in here. So this looks like it's gonna butt up against it. So you won't hopefully have too much of an issue with dart drag or anything like that, but there's no rifling in there or anything like that. It's purely for cosmetics. And then you have your sights, which just kind of click on there like that. Nice. And they don't adjust at all. Nope, and they don't go up or down or anything like that. Just simple iron sights. Nice. Enjoy that. Very nice. So yeah, let's go ahead and double check, make sure, can you pull these? You can pull these apart. So once you put these together, you're not stuck with them together or anything like that. So you can pull them apart if you want to. That's really neat. That's an interesting concept. I like that. I'm kind of down for that. So let's go ahead and take it out on the range and get some tests, get some, we'll get the FPS, let's see how hot it's shooting, see about our optimal range, precision, accuracy, and then we'll finally, there we go, finally, we'll figure out if the 125 feet range claim is any good. So let's go ahead and get outside and take a look. All right, so we've got our first test here. This is the AF Pro, the Ember darts for the Dictator. We're at 30 feet. Don't think this blaster will have much of a problem getting there. But let's see what we can do, huh? So for all of our tests here, we're going to be aiming straight at the target, dead center. Each shot, we won't be relocating or centering. So 20 shots. Here we go. 1. So these are the Ruby darts from Dart Zone. These are the darts that come with this blaster. Let's see where we're going here. These ones are kind of going a little bit to the bottom right. Here we go. Alright, so these are the Worker Gen 3 darts. Bamboo darts. So 20 fresh ember darts at 45-foot range. Aiming at the center of the target. Here we go. Ember darts, 20. Center of the target. So we've got Worker Gen 3 darts, fresh out of the box, right at the center of the target. Bamboo darts, 20, dead center. Whoa. Dang, that one's nuts. All right, guys, so we are back in studio with the Dart Zone Max Dictator after going out in the range and playing with it for quite a bit and getting the FPS numbers from all the different darts and all the different manufacturers. We're definitely ready to kind of put our final stamp on it and kind of talk a little bit about the results as well as the actual blaster itself and kind of how it fits into my loadout and what I kind of think of. Get some final thoughts. So for Worker Gen 3, we had a high of 173, a low of 141, and an average of 150. The Adventure Force Pro, the Ember darts, we had a high of 220, so these were going in pretty hot, but we had a low of 135, so there's a huge span there. And then the average was 157, so closer to the 135 there. the Dart Zone Pro Ruby darts. These are the red darts with the gray tip. They came in with a high of 189, a low of 132, and then an average of 153. And then, of course, we have the new Dart Zone Pro Bamboo darts. These are the 2.0 version, so the slightly lighter dart than the other three. Came in with a high of 226 and a low of 180, averaging 182. So you can see when you average all these together and you take a look at the different stats that the Bamboo darts flew the fastest from the muzzle. Now keep in mind these are a slightly lighter dart than the other ones. You can definitely tell a difference in like the head of the dart versus like the Worker Gen 3. But without a doubt, if you're looking for the fastest flying darts, the Bamboo darts are the ones way you're going to want to go. So as far as like consistency goes, you're gonna, when you look at, you compare all these darts together, you're gonna look at and see that the Worker Gen 3, they're going to be a little bit more consistent, and even the Dart Zone Ruby darts, they were pretty consistent as far as feet per second goes from dart to dart from the 20 that we tested. But nevertheless, let's continue on, and we'll talk about our accuracy and our precision next. And when you look at the different actual target shots that we've taken, we've combined all of them together, and you kind of see that at 45 feet range, that's the optimal range that we're going to be going with for the Dictator. The Bamboo darts clearly win the day with not with a 90% hit rate. This is by far like the best dart that we played with. Worker and had a slightly better precision than the Adventure Force Pros. And then as far as at 45 feet, the Dart Zone Ruby darts just fell so short, so short. So many of them fell off screen, off camera, out of frame, and it was kind of frustrating because this is the dart that comes with this blaster. So you're not getting the best of the best with this blaster. As far as the darts are concerned, yeah, these are widely available at Target, and you can purchase these individually. You don't have to go through an online retailer like Amazon or anything like that, like you do for the Bamboo darts. But for a blaster like this, where you're shooting such a high velocity, it would be nice to have the more accurate darts included. So the Adventure Force Pros fell kind of short at the 45 foot range. At 30 feet, all the darts hit 100% of the target. So I would say closer to like a 40 feet for the Ruby darts is probably where you're going to be looking at, closer to that 40-foot range. But it was very close between the Ember darts and the Worker darts. But like I said, the Worker darts had a little bit better precision. In the sense that their grouping was tighter around the target, and they weren't as far off. So then, as far as max range goes, and I'm kind of reluctant to include this information because it's not as scientific, it isn't as controlled as we can make it, like with the feet per second, with the precision, and with the accuracy testing. So as far as the actual claim on the box, it says 125 feet, and then it says over. So over 125 feet, which in our testing proved to be very true. Very, very true. So for this test, we took 2 of each dart and shot them roughly, and you can see in the video, roughly at a 40 degree angle. We tried to keep the actual angle of the blaster at the exact same. Obviously, it's impossible because we're human. But at any rate, the Dart Zone Bamboo dart flew the shortest. This was the shortest distance, and I believe that has something to do with the weight of the actual dart itself. So these went 151 and 154 respectively. The AF Pros, the Ember darts, they were next up at 153 and 167. Again, kind of crushing the numbers on the box, which is hilarious. Because you don't see that very often. Usually you see up to, and then, next up we had the Ruby darts from Dart Zone Pro. These were 171 and 172 respectively. And then last but certainly not least, we had our Worker Gen 3 going at a whopping 187 and 191 feet, which is insane, absolutely insane. I don't know, like, I don't think you would like actually fire a blaster, 30 feet or 30 degrees is probably like that. We were probably a little bit higher, not quite 45, but somewhere between 30 and 40, 45. And they just sailed. And you wouldn't necessarily normally fire anything like that. That's why I was saying at the top that I'm kind of reluctant to include this information in the actual review. But I know we want to go over the claims that the box has made. So for sure, as far as shooting the darts as far as you can, the Worker are the ones that you're going to want to go with. Next up, I want to talk about the actual use case for this blaster. And I know it says 14 plus as an age range on the actual box itself. And I believe that to be about true. I had my 11-year-old son pump this, and he was able to prime it after he adjusted his grip a little bit. So originally, normally he would grip it, just like this, and then pull it and prime it. He was struggling. He was really struggling for like that last inch and a half to get it there. He eventually did get it after kind of really pulling down on it. I had to correct his posture a little bit and make sure that he had the stock on his shoulder. But I told him, maybe put your pointer finger on the end of the stock and now pull it. And he was able to prime it much easier that way. Now he said that he'd be able to play with that all day long. I would eventually say that he could. I believe that he'd be able to play at least one battle with that, but I don't think he'd be able to go all day pumping this thing, and eventually his arms would just give out. So I think that 14 age range is actually a pretty sweet spot. So they've got their information pretty much on point as far as their age range goes, just for priming the blaster. Now my 5-year-old son definitely wouldn't be able to prime this. No way. As far as the kids go, I say 14 plus is probably a good age range, not only for the safety purposes, but also like priming wise. Having it about a 20 pound prime is quite a bit. And I think a 14-year-old will definitely be able to handle that. But like I said, my 11-year-old struggled with it quite a bit, and then I had to readjust his grip, and he was able to prime it just fine. But I feel like after 1 or 2 games, he's definitely going to be feeling that in his gameplay is going to suffer because of it. So definitely by the 3rd game, he would probably be switching blasters to something that's electric flywheeler. So that is the priming strength required, about, like I said, 20 pounds. Let's move on to my opinions of the blaster. And this is kind of where I have mixed reviews, because when I first picked this up, I was like, wow, this is a really nice blaster. I don't think I'm going to care for it because I really enjoy my Nexus Pro. But let's talk about the first thing here, the unique thing about this blaster, and that is the stock with the reloading, with the magazine fed kind of perpendicular to the feeding system, to the tubing, to the tubes, all that, to the plunger tube, all that, rather than the traditional perpendicular like your Nexus Pro. So with this being horizontal, you gain a couple advantages. Number one, just like with the Nexus Pro, you don't have a magazine sticking out in front, of your blaster. So depending on what size magazine you use, you've got 12, 13, 14 inches worth of plastic that is jutting out from the bottom of your blaster. This comes into play when you've got it sling mounted and you're going to your secondary or whatever. That's just another kind of edge that you can catch yourself on or catch the blaster on that you need to be cautious of. One thing you could possibly do is drop your mag on those blasters, but then again, if you try to pull your primary up and shoot it, you're not loaded. So nevertheless, it does solve that issue. It does it so eloquently. Being able to just slide your magazine in, and you've got in this case you've got 24 darts ready to go, and yeah, it's just really cool. It's gonna take a little bit, take a little bit to get used to reloading, because I found myself even during my procedures, testing the blaster, going, trying to grab the mag, like, oh yeah, that's right, it's here and then there. So eventually your muscle memory is going to need to be reprogrammed, so where you're putting the magazines into the stock and releasing them horizontally or vertically like this, so they mag drop out, so you're not having to pull them out, which is nice. I really appreciate that they gravity drop out of this thing, because having to pull one out and just slide it out and then grab another one, with the way this is set up, you can eject a magazine, have a magazine in your hand ready to reload, or catch it on its way out, flip it around, and slide it back in. So this is really cool. I really enjoy it. The other thing that I enjoy about this after using it is the fact that it is all one piece. Well, so to speak, one piece. The stock is one piece to the body of the blaster itself. And this comes into play when I really kind of took note of this when I was shooting on the range. And with my testing procedure, we do 20 darts each at each different lengths. So we did 20 of each dart at 30 foot, and then 20 of each dart at 45 feet, and then even did the bamboo darts at 60 feet. So we shot this blaster a lot. And one of the things that I noticed right away is the way I was priming it. I was priming it like my Nexus Pro. And with the Nexus Pro, probably about, I don't know, maybe 10% of the weight goes to my shoulder, and the other 90% is on my wrist, on my thumb. So obviously, because it's the way the stock is, like, you can't put all of the weight on that stock, because you'll eventually bend and break the stock or the buffer tube, because of the way the blaster's set up. And this is true for this blaster. I got through like about 3/4 of the 30-foot shots. I was like, man, my hand is really starting to hurt. And then I realized, like, oh, well, why am I shooting it like this? Like, this needs to be into my shoulder. So I started almost releasing my hand, just to kind of get myself to recognize, like, oh yeah, I can do that. And I don't need to use my hand to push, to push force back. It's all in the stock, and it felt so good to be able to prime this blaster and not have that creaking noise, horrible sound of plastic creaking. And I really appreciated that. That is really cool, and definitely something to take note of. Definitely one of the stronger suits, having that inline full chunk of plastic from front to back going into the stock. So that is much appreciated. So then let's talk a little bit about these magazines. So while this is an interesting concept, being able to put together two magazines bottom to bottom like this, so that you have darts facing up, and then load it, spend the 12, eject it, flip it around, slide it in, and reload that way. This is a really cool concept. The problem is, in the box, you have to use Dart Zone magazines. And I don't have another Dart Zone magazine to look at, unfortunately. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't have one. Maybe we do. Maybe one came with the Mark III. I can't remember if it did or not. But this little notch right here is what almost locks in to this little coupler. The other thing that it locks in is there's two tabs on diagonal sides of the coupler that lock into two of these little notches on the bottom. At any rate, you're kind of stuck with Dart Zone, at least if you want to go the 12 magazine route. Because if you go with like Worker, which is the brand that I use, the Worker Talons, these will fit, which is I appreciate. But the coupler system does not work with these. It's just too big. it doesn't quite fit. Even if I orient it the opposite way to see if it'll fit, nothing. It's just not quite long enough or tall enough to receive this. So that's a bummer, right? So one of the things that I set out to do is because I was like, you know what? I don't have to rely on these magazines. I don't want to, I want to use the magazines that I have for my Nexus. So I 3D printed, designed a coupler for worker magazines. And we'll include a link to the Thingiverse that you guys can download this and print this to yourself. It's very kind of rough and rudimentary. It really just it works, right? It just works. I haven't beveled any of the edges or anything like that. I just want to make sure the form factor, it was great and it does exactly what it needed to do. So boom, I can now use my worker Talon magazines. The problem is I've got two 15 rounders, right? And it slides in, nice, locks in. Now we've got probably about a good 3 inches out the back of the stock. And you can play it like this, right? You can definitely play like this. I wouldn't put any weight on this or push anything in this. You're going to be Nexus Proing and 100% is going to be on your thumb, priming the blaster. But I wouldn't really put too much weight into that. You could go the route of a 15 and a 10. The 10 round magazines work just as well. Those slide in just like this. The other cool thing is worker logo shows up real nice right there. And then you can also see my V3. So you could put your logo on it or something like that, whatever. I don't care. You can edit that. You can edit the print, whatever. You don't have to give me credit or anything like that. I just wanted something for me so that I could use this blaster with my magazine system I already have in place. So as you can tell, it fits perfectly. You've got one more dart than Dart Zone gives you as far as capacity goes, so that's 25. You might be able to cram one extra dart in the 15 rounder, but it's kind of up to you how you want to do that. So anyway, so you have this printed part that makes this compatible with the Dictator. The next problem that I wanted to solve is I don't want to buy a whole bunch of these magazines. I don't want to have to worry about what magazines I have and do I have enough to cover the 6 that I have the loadout wise. So started working on designing a replacement for this end cap to extend the stock out just a little bit, and I've kind of getting started to where I've got it so it fits. Right, and again, it's kind of rudimentary. It's not very, it doesn't have bevel edges or anything like that, but it fits. That's the big thing. Get some screw posts in there, and we can extend this thing out the extra 3 inches needed, and it'll be good. So this was a huge step. This is still a work in progress. Once we get this finished, I'll update the description with the file and the link or whatever, so you can, it's non-permanent. It's just there's 4 screws, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom to take this off, and then we're just going to use the same screws to screw this in. Now I do know that Drac has created a very similar product for on their shop. I'm not sure what the depth is. It does look like it adds about a couple inches. I'm not sure exactly. You'd have to message them, but that would be an alternative to getting the same kind of function. But this again will be up on our Thingiverse shop, and you can download the file and print it for yourself and see how it works. But yeah, that was my big gripe was I can't use the magazines that I already have. I'm kind of stuck with what they've got, and I really don't want to have to go through buying a whole set of new magazines just for one gun. I want my magazines to work on other blasters. So I wasn't about to buy more magazines. I will if I have to because I really enjoy this, but if these would work, I would be stoked. So for now, it looks like it's going to, based on just the form fitting, and then also getting this finished. So I'm really, really excited about that. As far as like the feel of the blaster itself in the hands, the one thing I wish is that it had the rubberized grips that the other blasters in like the Pro Series have. So like the Mark 2.1, or no, the Mark 1.2. Heck, even the Mark III has a really nice rubberized grip. And maybe that's just to the Mark series, but these, you know, this is a nice, it's got a nice kind of, this has got like a nice knurling on the actual pump grip. This has got some texture to it. It feels nice in the hand. I love that the mag release is ambidextrous. That's phenomenal. I didn't use the sights just for obvious reasons. I wanted to use a reflex red dot sight. The muzzle I feel is adequate. It kind of gives you that suppressor look, which is really neat. It doesn't do anything for your aim or anything like that, or doesn't impart spin like a scar barrel would. So that might be something that you upgrade later on down the road. I appreciate the full level Picatinny rail. That is really cool. It makes it easier with cameras and batteries and flashlights and sights and all that stuff to be able to just nicely fit. It's all together. It's a nice blaster. I really, really enjoy it. So let's talk about where does this fit in your current loadout and where I would see it in my loadout. Now, I'm going to say it now. I love my Nexus Pro. It was one of the first blasters that I purchased getting back into this hobby since when I was a kid, and I've upgraded it. I've used it pretty much the entire time as my primary, so I have a special place in my heart for that blaster. That being said, this is an excellent challenger. If anything, just having this one piece as far as the priming, I can really appreciate that, because it was just so nice, you know, being able to pump and not have to worry about my hand holding the blaster steady. I can really push it into my shoulder and just prime, shoot, prime, and just really kind of get in like a good feel for using this thing. Now, as far as the problem with the loadout is two things. Number one, are you going to buy magazines to fill out your loadout? Are these going to be like kind of the standard for your loadout? Are you going to run these in your chest rig? You know, this is huge. Like, this has got to be at least, I should have measured it. And I don't have a tape measure or anything near me, but I mean, this is huge, right? Like, you're not going to walk around with these on your chest rig. You might have these in like maybe a dump pouch, but I mean, even a dump pouch is only going to come up halfway, and like, I worry about how people are going to carry these. And so I started thinking up different ideas and how you could possibly make this system work. You know, obviously you're going to start the game with, you know, 24 in the chamber, ready to go. But maybe you have your chest rig has one mag and the coupler, you know, 1, 2, 3, and then you've got a dump pouch of these ones, or maybe you've got these on your legs without the coupler. And when you go to reload, you pull one off your leg, and you know, while it's on here on your chest rig, you load it, pull it out, and then stick it in. That begs the question, what are you going to do with the empty one? Because now you've got this sticking out. You know, you're like, well, what do I do with this? I mean, obviously, if you're in, you know, a decent, you know, if you're in a park or whatever, you don't want to leave these lying around. If you're at a private event, you're less likely to lose them or them get stolen or whatever. So that's one of the biggest things that I was struggling. That's even true with my design with the Talon mags. Like, are you really gonna? And this is even worse than the Dart Zone option, right? Are you really? This is like if I even push them as far in as they go, I mean, you're still looking, it's like another 3 inches. Like, you're not going to walk around like this. Like, that's just not feasible. I mean, you could have them on your calf and be able to reach them, like from the top, obviously. It's hilarious how long these are, and I want to know how you guys would run this. Me personally, what I was thinking when I was like, oh, a good way to do this, and you wouldn't have to buy any extra mags. This is what's really cool about what I was thinking was, these two come with the blaster, they come with the coupler. So this will be your start of the game loadout. So you've got your Dictator, 12 darts loaded in, preferably with, the bamboo darts, or if you're looking for more consistency, and range, going with the worker gen ones. Your magazine, it's loaded. It may be on your person, you just have your 6 Talon mags, right? Right? You've got your 6 Talon mags and you're good to go. You shoot through your first 24 darts, you eject it out, you drop this mag on the ground and push it into cover, and you simply just pull one of your 15 round mags in and just slide it in by itself, right? So like, even though you don't have the full 24, you still have 15. And this is how much the Nexus would have on your first reload. Heck, in this situation, you've shot more darts than the Nexus, and the Nexus will have to reload when you're just switching around, the 12 rounders. So, and you just run with this, right? So then you can just, when you're out of your 15, drop it out. And that's the other thing is you might have to add some weight to the bottom of these to get them to gravity drop a little bit better. But you get that, you drop it in, pull out another one, load it up, and now you've got 15 darts, you're good to go. So I guess the thing that I'm worried about is how are you going to use this blaster in your loadout after you've reloaded, after you've shot out these 24 darts? What does that look like? Do you have them on your chest rig? Do you have, just the one coupler and then you're coupling them then, together? I'm kind of curious, right? And I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section. Like, what would you suggest people do? How would you run this? So me personally, if I were to get rid of the Nexus and go over to this, my thing would be just to run this first and then switch over to single Talon mags and call it a day. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You're not taking advantage of one of the features of the blaster, but the one thing that I do enjoy, the stock, is a benefit too, is a feature as well, and it's much more of a reliable feature than the Nexus Pro, or any other buffer tube stock for that matter. But yeah, so that's kind of my final thoughts as where it fits in my loadout. So ultimately, while I will play with this, it's not going to replace my Nexus Pro. And there's one reason why that is, and it might not match up with what you guys need, and that's just a fact of life, is your needs might be different than mine. With the Nexus Pro, I can reduce the FPS individual games, like in between games. Heck, you can probably change it in the middle of a game. It's so damn easy. This shoots pretty hard. Between whatever dart you're using, you're hitting 150 feet per second, and in some cases over 200. So it's that 200 range that really kind of is like, ooh, like, I don't know if I want to shoot my 5-year-old son with this. That would suck for him. Yeah, I don't think so. So my thing is with the Nexus Pro, and the way our games are set up and the way we play games, is we pick teams before each match. And each match is 3 rounds, so you play the best of 3. So if I've got my 5-year-old son on my team, I can put the 175 out of darts cap on my Nexus Pro because I'm shooting adults, and that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother them, I don't think. Let me know if it does. But anyway, I could change it on the fly. And then, like, if my 5-year-old son is on the other team, like, okay, well, I don't shoot him, or or I tune this thing down, put in the original spring, or put in the reduced spring. Depending on the game, depending on my opponents, is really kind of what it comes down to. If you just play against adults and you're looking for a great primary that's fun to use and has a really cool feature in that the way that the reload system works, and offers a great stock, look no further. This is a great blaster, absolutely, hands down. But if you need to change your FPS depending on, and it might be like, hey, you need to have your average FPS needs to be 150 or lower. Looking at our results, we had 3, the worker ones were at an average of 150. Everything else was over 150. So, depending on where you play, this might not be legal. And I haven't opened this up, but I imagine the system inside is pretty intricate, the way that the darts get loaded, and then there's got to be some type of mechanism that comes up from underneath the darts and pushes it into the breech. But anyway, this might not be an option for you. So again, while this is a fantastic offering from Dart Zone, and I absolutely love it, and I love what they're doing with it, I think I'm still going to stick with my Nexus Pro, only because of how easy it is to tune the spring and the feet per second and the performance ultimately, depending on who I'm playing against and all that. If I'm just playing against adults, I'm going to take this every time. Just for the simple fact that the stock is fantastic, and reloading it, you can get used to that. It's just a fun blaster to use. So that is the Dart Zone Max Dictator. Such a fantastic offering from Dart Zone. Highly recommend it. Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear a couple things from you guys. If we missed anything in our procedures, what would you like to see? What kind of tests can we do that you're looking for, that you'd like to have the information from? All of our test results will be listed in the Google document down below, so feel free to open that up and take a look. It'll have all the blasters that we've tested. Obviously right now is just this one, but as we go, the list will get bigger and bigger, and you can kind of compare between all. The other thing I want to know is, what do you guys think about this blaster? What is it about this blaster that has you intrigued? Is it the reloading system? Is it the performance? Is it the single body, stock attached to the body? Is it all of the above? The price point seems fair, but I'm kind of curious to you guys. Let us know what we can do better, what kind of tests we're looking, you want us to run. Let us know what you think of this blaster, and then also, one last thing, let me know what blasters you'd like us to see run through our testing facilities and our testing procedures. I'd love to have your guys' feedback. We're a new channel, and I'd like to get this kind of community behind it and really kind of get what you guys are looking for put into our videos. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.